right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do our daily Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update. This is supposed to be the weekend edition. It's a little bit late, so you guys will probably be seeing this on Monday. So let's call this a week in review. I want to look at what happened last week and then talk about what I think we're in store for this week. So I have a bunch of charts and graphs as always. So if you're new to the channel, we talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners all the time. So if you have not yet, please hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and you can also hit the notification bell to get notifications every time we put out a video. Lastly, if you are interested, you can join the channel and become a member by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. Members have a bunch of members-only content and a members-only live stream, and we also have a members-only Discord and some other stuff. So I appreciate everybody's support. Let's go through and talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. This was the second straight week in a row that we had a down week in Bitcoin. Currently on the year, we are way up still. We did find a temporary top about 2 weeks ago, somewhere at around $25,200. So we will look at the Bitcoin charts a little bit later. Right now, I want to talk about what's going on with the Bitcoin miners. You can see 2 weeks ago, the Bitcoin miners were extremely red, all with the exception of Wolf, which was up 8%. Now, this last week, you'll see this was a much healthier week for the Bitcoin miners. So I do think they went through a little bit of a bottoming out process. They got beat up 2 weeks ago, so they were a little more sideways this week. In fact, Core Scientific was up 23%. You'll see a bunch of these in the green. RIOT, which is the largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, was up 8%. Cypher, which is the third largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, was up 7%. And then Hive was up 3%. From there on out, everybody was in the red. But really, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more Bitcoin miners that were less to or equal than the change in Bitcoin. So no leverage at all there. So this is very healthy activity for the Bitcoin miners this past week. It was a fairly boring week. I do think a lot of people are losing interest right now. I don't know if investors are leaving the space. I can tell from my views and my comments that people are definitely getting very, very frustrated. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to come on and go through all of this before we get started on this next week. Now is not the time, in my opinion, to be losing interest. And in my opinion, it's definitely not the time to be getting out of the market. So obviously, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you guys what to do, but I want to just show you what has happened so that you can understand as you make your investment decisions. Just for reference, the second largest market cap Bitcoin miner is Marathon, and you'll see that was down 4%, which was equal to the price action on Bitcoin. So again, that behaved just fine, really. Now, this next chart is something I've been paying attention to. In August of 2022, Bitcoin got up to $25,000. It had a nice relief rally and got up to $25,000. So that was now over 6 months ago. So it's about 6 months later, and Bitcoin once again has visited $25,000. Like I said, 2 weeks ago now, we hit about $25,200. Since then, you'll see that Bitcoin has pulled back a total of 12%, but you'll see the Bitcoin miners have pulled back significantly more than that. So the vast majority of these are really a 4x leverage or more. These are disproportionately down versus their August relief rally numbers. So I believe the Bitcoin miners are lagging behind. I believe they're lagging behind because that 25,200 is a strong line of resistance. And I think that as we approached that line and got right to it and failed, and we've had a 2-week pullback now, I think the Bitcoin mining investors are waiting to break through that $25,200 level. So I do think you're going to see exaggerated move to the downside, and you can see this 2 weeks ago is where we really saw the separation. This last week, we were pretty flat. And I think until we break above that $25,200, these numbers aren't going to move the way we want them to move. However, I think if we can have a daily candle close above 25,200 and take that rally that I've been looking for, I'm looking for that rally up to maybe $29,000. So if we can get that rally, then I do think the Bitcoin miners will have a dramatic turn to the upside. Again, not financial advice. This is just my opinion, but I do think it has everything to do with that line at 25,200. So right now, Bitcoin is down 12% from the August highs of 2022. I think if this could get up 2 or 3%, that would start the run on these Bitcoin miners, and a lot of these could flip from red, and they are pretty deep red right now. Potentially, they could flip to green, so those would be giant moves. You'll see some of these companies, Stronghold, Core Scientific, and Gree, they're down 85, 89, and 90%, so I would caution caution you that at the lower end of this, some of these companies have had fundamental changes in the way they conduct business since last August. In most instances, it was their debt that put them into a spot where they had to either give back a lot of machines or rearrange their business in other ways, and they're suffering from liquidity problems. Be careful, because not everything is an opportunity. This is where we need to look for the outliers and then do our due diligence from there to see if there's an opportunity. But for instance, in my opinion, you're looking at Marathon down 66% from where it was last August. And Marathon, I think, had a very good February monthly operational update. I did do a separate video on that. You could check it out, and it goes through all the details of what Marathon did in February. But to me, that was a very positive report. So that stock, to me, feels oversold. So those are the types of opportunities that I'm looking for. Another one I've been talking about a lot, actually two right next to each other. Cleanspark's down 63%. Bitfarms is down 62%. This is from when Bitcoin was at $25,000 in August, so right in the same neighborhood. Those are two more that I have my eye on. And as always, I want to remind everybody, this is just one chart, so please try to use all of the charts that I have and your own due diligence. You guys look at this ways in different ways than I do probably as well. So you can see for the year to date, we've had some spectacular results on the Bitcoin miners. Now, 2022 was an absolute disaster for the Bitcoin miners, so there was massive pushes to the downside. However, since January 1st, 2023 until the peak in the middle of February of 2023, this was over a 60% rally for Bitcoin. And you can see correspondingly, the Bitcoin miners, the vast majority of them performed even better than that. Some of them significantly better than that. You're going to see Core Scientific is up 389% year to date, and we're only 2 months into the year. DigiHost is up 258%. I mean, these are massive moves to the upside. Cypher, which is now the third largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, is up 188% just this year in the last 2 months. So from there, it drops off a little, but you still have a lot that have doubled. Iris Energy, Bit Digital, and Bitfarms have all doubled this year, up 100% as of the end of trading on Friday. And you've got Hive, Riot, Marathon, HUT, all in the 80 to 90% range. So very strong moves. You'll see year to date now, Bitcoin is up 34%. There is only one Bitcoin miner that is in the red. That is TeraWulf. TeraWulf did do a big stock dilution. In addition to that, they had to do some major changes to their business. I actually think that they improved their business. So again, this is not financial advice. In my personal opinion, I look at TeraWulf in the red in 2023. I think that represents an opportunity. I did start buying this stock. It's still a small position for me. And again, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you guys which stocks to buy and sell, but these are the types of outliers that I look for to see if there's opportunities. I would also note on this chart, Cleanspark is only up 25%. That is less than Bitcoin is up. Cleanspark operationally has been absolutely dominating in my opinion. So I think that they are due for a very big run if Bitcoin can hold on and take the next leg up. Obviously, if Bitcoin turns around, all bets are off. Okay, just a quick look by market cap. This is all the Bitcoin mining companies that I follow. This is their market cap as of Friday close of business. So you're going to see Riot is the only one over $1 billion right now. Riot is at $1,061 million of market cap. So that's actually significantly more than second place. Marathon's at $745 million. So just as recently as the last few months, there was a time where Marathon had actually passed Riot for a few days. Those two have been in first place for the last several years from a market cap standpoint. Not necessarily from a production standpoint. Then there's a pretty big drop off down to $399 million, almost $400 million with Cypher. Then it drops down almost another $100 million to $309 million with HUT. And then Hive is in fifth place at $231 million. So you'll see there's really a top two that have broken away. From a monthly production standpoint, you're going to see Cleanspark down here at $199 million. And I point that out because they actually produced more Bitcoin than Hive does, than HUT does, than Cypher does. And I think this month now, Marathon and Riot may have finished ahead of them, but neck and neck. So these companies are pretty close, but their market caps are very different. Now, there's other factors to look at because all three of those companies have very different looking balance sheets. So again, you got to do your own due diligence to figure out the rest of the story. But from a production standpoint, Cleanspark and Bitfarms are very high producers and their market caps are still fairly low. I want to finish up by looking at Bitcoin on the 1 day time frame because you're going to see over the weekend we really did have some sideways action here. This orange line is where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed on Friday in the US. For the whole weekend, we were just right above this line. Also, this purple line, if you guys remember, going into the weekend, I thought it was important that we hold this purple line. My line in the sand is down here. I thought it was critical, for me, it was critical that we remained above this $21,478 line. So around $21,500, there's a blue line. That is the previous low that we hit about a month ago. I think the short-term momentum is still bullish, even though we're in a couple of week pullback. So you can see I added a yellow arrow. Basically, to me, this is what the momentum is right now. You see a yellow line down here back in December, and then a yellow line here in January, in the middle of January. That was a higher low. Then we had another line here in the middle of February. That's another higher low. And right now, if this holds, then we will have set another higher low. Now, that is not confirmed yet because we don't know. We haven't seen whether this is going to break to the upside or the downside. But as long as we can stay above this line at 21.5, I think we're still inside of this bullish pattern. If I zoom out just a little bit, you'll see from the bottom in late November until the peak so far on this bull run, Bitcoin was up almost 64% in that period of time. So that was a massive, massive run up. Like I said, we've pulled back since then. So we're now about 2 full weeks into a pullback here. However, we are holding a higher low. So we've been setting higher lows. We've been setting higher highs. I think this trend seems to be continuing. It did hold up all weekend long. That was what I wanted to see going into the weekend. So my 2 goals going into the weekend was to make sure we stay above the line at 21,500. We never got anywhere near that. I was hoping to jump back above this purple line at around 22,400. Now, we're just hit or miss. We've been within about $100 of that line. We traded in a very, very tight range. We did jump up for a few minutes only to pull right back down. This is the 15-minute time frame, so you can see all of this was only just about 1 hour of activity. Other than that, we've been hanging around the purple line at around 22,400, and that's what I was hoping would happen over the weekend. So for me, I still feel like the trade sets up that our next move is back up to test 25,200, and then I do think at one point we will break through that and run up to 29,000. So I don't know if that's in the next 2 weeks or the next 2 months, but I think the next move is to the upside. If we get below that 21,500, and potentially this relief rally might be over if that happens. But in the meantime, so far, it looks very, very healthy. That's what happened last week in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, and we'll get you an update probably later today or tomorrow, and we'll see what's going on now. So hope everybody enjoyed your weekend. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, if you haven't yet, you can subscribe to the channel. Thanks to everybody who is a member for supporting the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.